or B or whatever other entity there could be.
I'm not going to answer the question about whether or not we do or do not have to continue to negotiate this point. I will say that we are continuing to negotiate. We are still in negotiations. We have asked the union to sit down. We asked the union to sit down and meet with us this week. They have not responded. They have not agreed to meet with us again. As far as we're concerned, there continues to exist legally an obligation to bargain, to negotiate. And the GTCA is fulfilling that legal obligation. That's all I can really say on that point.
I'm under the impression that employees, because you didn't have a contract, have not got a cost of living wage in 2 years. Is that correct?
That would repeat the question, so I want to...
Yes, you're under the impression that because we didn't have a contract, employees didn't receive a pay increase in 2 years. We kept our end of the bargain in 2006, 7, 8. When we started negotiating a new contract, we agreed that the first year there will be no increase. We offered in our negotiations pay increases, right? Yes, we did. Union just walked off. They know what they have to do. We have funds. I believe it was 2%. We owe them 2% for the last year, I believe. So we kept everything we promised. Yes, please.
This company that will come in and decide who stays and who goes, do you have any idea of what kind of wages they'll be offering the people that have been working here, some of them for 27 years? I was told they're going to have to settle for half of what they're getting now.
I tell you one thing, we cannot discuss issues like this. I can tell you that if good kind associations employ people, unrelated to Galaxy, the issue and this scaremongering that we're going to be picking up drug addicts on the corner somewhere, this is a lot of untruth, okay? Rigorous testing, and again, I'm not selling, promoting anything, but the rigorous testing, drug testing, criminal background testing, security, for instance, all need to be licensed by state of New Jersey. It is not. This is people who are working right now someplace else. They're not illegal immigrants, they speak English, etc., etc. So when we speak of this particular industry, it is a good citizens who are just simply working, and we did not discuss what they get paid. Because at this particular instance, at this exercise, the most important thing for us was to establish what kind of service you can expect and how much it costs us. Because we are driven significantly, 100% of this exercise driven by economics. Yes, Alan?
Question. The outsourcing, you want me to use a mic or not? The outsourcing company is going to make a profit, I would imagine. So the only way they're going to show a profit is by saving on wages to a great extent. So what happens to we have good people and we have not so good people. What happens to those people who are employed by the Galaxy, whose work we like and we'd like to have stay? Are they going to be offered less money for the same job?
Unfortunately, I cannot comment to this because this is something up to the company. What I was told and the board was told, that 100% of our employees will be transferred to them and they will conduct interviews and they will establish.
That's not my question.
And the question is such, the company is in business for 115 years. It appears to us that they know what they're doing. I don't believe that they're in business, and when checking references from some, but not most, from the neighboring condominiums around here, we received outstanding references.
Can you tell us some of the companies that use them?
Entire Gold Coast is using
Every
every single conduct. Surprisingly, everything what we discovered in this process, that I do not know of any condominium or co-op being a direct employer. Do not know. It's not Harmon Cove, it's not Edgewater, it's not, it's just not. The simple issue of a legal cost, where historically, and you know better than anybody else, that historically we paid about $80,000 to $100,000 in HR labor-related issues per year. This will disappear. So there are significant savings and improvements in areas outside of labor cost.
One other question. Who's representing the Galaxy in terms of labor negotiations?
We retained right now Morgan Lewis one of the finest companies, one of the law firms in the United States. 2 attorneys who are basically working with us, they're partners. And they are in top 100 labor lawyers in the United States. And since we retained them recently, I cannot give you their names because I know their first names only, so if you pronounce, it's difficult, a couple of G's in the
Yeah, the board has retained Joe Regalia and Richard Rosenblatt from the law firm of Morgan Lewis to assist us. And let me just answer the question, because it's really the same question almost was asked twice about what the people are going to be paid. Keep in mind, first of all, we can't answer that question because the Galaxy wouldn't be the employer, so the Galaxy wouldn't be making the decision. However, it's not as easy as saying, well, they're going to make a profit, so aren't they going to pay less? For example, this is where you get things like economy of scale. Right now, we have to pay a certain amount to the union welfare fund, because the union provides the insurance. It is possible that a company that has a larger base, this union only has a few hundred people, has a larger base, could provide the same or even better insurance benefits at a lower cost. So that could translate into a benefit for their employees that the Galaxy can't provide. So it's not an open and shut case that somebody's going to be worse off or somebody's going to be better off. The Galaxy will see immediate savings in legal, administrative, and tax costs without a penny coming from any employee. So there's no easy answer to the question, but there are ways that these companies, because of their size and the number of people, can provide benefits to these employees that even their own union can't provide.
But you're not telling us what they're going to be paid. They could pay half of what they're getting now.
We won't be.
Let me, I'm not trying to patronize you, but I learned one thing once, and my dear friend who happened to be a cardiologist wanted to quit the site because he was passionately involved. He was passing by one room where somebody was resuscitated, and a group of doctors discussed the Super Bowl. And he said he did not like it, no passion. He talked to his dean, and his dean said that he's a technician. We have to make a decision here outside of emotions. We are fiduciary representatives of this association. If you feel that we do not understand what you're saying, but we have to shield ourselves because it should not affect judgment of the director, of any director when we're making such a decision. It is driven purely by economics. I'm sure that some of us lost our jobs. I'm sure that some of us had to restart at low wages. I'm sure that we have economic conditions here. Are we ready to keep increasing our maintenance and satisfying and thinking, listen, we contribute to charity, but as directors, we have to find a way, the most economical way to advance interests of association. Otherwise, why did you vote every time? What are you putting us here for? Yes.
Yes, I'm concerned that this major change may expose us to very heavy-duty litigation, to imminent. Do we have imminent threat of litigation by these workers who?
We are following the letter of the law. We brought in serious people to guide us through it. Let's not discuss this as it's already done deal.
Slava, could you repeat the question that was asked?
Can this expose us to any heavy-duty litigation cost? It may. In the United States, anybody can sue anybody for reason or no reason. I mean, really, we've been exposed for some frivolous lawsuits, and the judge just wanted to see what else will be there presented with you. It's here, the Galaxy. So it may. But we are very cautiously proceeding in this direction. As I said before, we retain 2 top labor lawyers, and they're guiding us through this process. Now, we just did not retain them now. We consulted with Plaska, who was our prior labor attorney. Then we retained briefly Stephen Hars. He's also a well-known labor attorney. And we graduated to Morgan Lewis, yes. And yes, by the way, we're not paying Morgan Lewis more than we paid Mr. Plasko 4 years ago. And
They reduced their fees too, right?
They did, because they looked at our financials and they said that they were going to give us some discounts. Yeah, no, sincerely, this is what it is. So we're still deliberating, we're still talking. As I said before, I'm very proud of directors being able to leave political affiliations outside of the boardroom. Some of us are far on the left, you cannot see it. Some of us far on the right, you cannot see it. But this particular exercise, again, to reveal some secrets, this report, PM Solutions, was actually the beginning of this process. Because this is basically directed us in direction, it pointed us in direction we started to look at some alternatives. And at that time, in the beginning, not everybody was on board. When we realized what we about to engage in, we put our differences aside, and it's purely economical decision. Now, on the positive, if we do this, I can just simply give you a vision, and you understand that 800 million, 1.2. Yes, the next step would be, if you do this, even if you don't do this, garage automation. Yes, Barry.
Can you tell us what would they put in place managers here, who the employees would report to if this organization?
Galaxy will not be an employer. So any relationship with, again, we're speaking as a done deal. We speak hypothetically this particular time. Okay, so if such a thing will take place, we will be communicating. Board will do what the board should do: create policies and communicate through this company via Square. The footprint of Square will be seriously reduced from 9 people to 5. We also brought on board, we beefed up significantly our accounting department by bringing Mr. Joe Manzi as our new controller. I'm sure that Mr. Geller, Jeremy Geller, is a tremendous asset. We discovered, just we're so fortunate that we have him. So we beefed up in 2 positions. We will improve our facility department, building maintenance and unit service. We will not think of, we will continue managing this particular site. And the companies we talk to, number of companies, as I said before, they are very heavily represented in middle management. They have people here at the facilities, and they have visiting people. They have visiting managers, so they basically do, they control their employees very well. For instance, as far as security is concerned, they will introduce a key system, key track system, detect system, which used to be here at the Galaxy. If some of you been here long enough, remember. This system allows to patrol, to register. It's basically chip somewhere in the wall in some locations where security guards have to roll and have to register. Then they're going to introduce technology which would allow to take complaints. For instance, if the elevator button on the 6th floor is not working, we unfortunately and sadly do not know until you complain about it, because now we just cannot find a way to police this, to monitor this, yes. So, and again, it is not an exercise of bringing unskilled labor. All the companies said that the laborers are English speaking, all testings in place, etc., etc. Any more questions? Yes, please.
Can you elaborate? You said it's a done deal. What exactly is it?
Oh, no. I did not say it is a done deal. I said no, it is not. It's still, yes, it's still.
The question is, what is the time frame? When will it all be over?
It's a very sensitive issue here. We still have to and will continue negotiating with our bargaining unit, local 124. If one point in time we will choose and we will decide that negotiations are not taking us anywhere, and we will declare an impasse, from that moment on, the transition takes about 90 days, between 60 to 90 days.
So from now it will be months or years or weeks or days?
No, it is not. We still have to negotiate with our local. And we are bringing to your attention because we gave them last and final offer. They have to take it, and probably they did take it to the union. I'm sure that they discussing it now passionately, and I'm sure, I have a feeling that they're going to say